What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the garage, and good to see all the familiar faces back as usual. Hillary and DG's here. Let's see who else we got. Scott, welcome back. Tony, good to see you back in Canada. Russ, uh, Steve, Zero, Ross, One Fast Daddy, Brandon, Scuba Sam, Jeremy, James. Man, they're starting to roll in right now. What's going on global? What is going on? Hopefully, everybody's happy, healthy, and getting by. It has been quite the week, and I will start off by saying every once in a while you take two steps forward, one step back. I've been working on, I hope so, Brandon. I've been working on Project Country Club. I finally came to the realization that I couldn't open the trunk when the car was running, so I thought, man, I should dig into that. And then it dawned on me, I was like, I bet because I can't open the trunk when the car is running that I can't put the top down either. And sure enough, could not put the top down. Did a lot of digging around, researching, found out it was the TCM or the lack thereof of the TCM. Nah, it's well technically, but not, Brandon. It's the transmission itself on this platform sends the ECM a signal for park neutral. Then the TCM across the CAN bus sends the BCM a status. And that status is then broadcasted from the BCM to the holding top control module. And so I was able to hook the TCM up. Oh, thanks, Global. I was able to hook the TCM up and scan the bus on it and get the information off of it, get the CAN bus stuff. And then through that, I hooked my scanner up to the OBD2 port and started injecting those messages, and it was looking like it was going to work. So I spent a long time programming all of this stuff into one of the cannies, specifically the one where I had to do the logic for the on-off switch, if any of you guys remember that, because the car would not shut off. Probably ties back to the fact that the car is not supposed to shut off unless it's in park, but that's neither here nor there. And it just would not work. In fact, I did a video on it. There's some pretty interesting stuff about hacking the CAN bus on that that I'll put out here soon. But I ended up going back and slaving the TCM back in. In fact, I installed it in the trunk by the aftermarket transmission controller, and all I did was just run power and ground to it. And then you have to take the position indicators for park and A and ground those, and it reports that the car's in park. So needless to say, I finally got to the point where I could get the trunk open, I could put the top down on it, but it changed something in the way that the on-off switch works, and so now the car won't shut off. So 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That being said, let's now, Brandon, I'm using the PCS 2000. Let's go ahead and give a big shout out to the new patrons. We've got Peter, Gilbert, Brandon, Scott. Thanks, Scott. Glad to see you in here. Sherrod, Braxton, Matthew, Noah, Brian, Adam, Stephen, and Mike. Any of you guys that are new patrons, put your hand in the air. Thank you for your support. And we will be. I will be getting your welcome koozie out to you here soon. I'm a little bit behind on shipping things as usual. It's been hectic, but nonetheless, hello to everybody else that has shown up in the meantime. Good to see everybody. I appreciate it. Hey, 325 Sonoma, good to see you again. Brandon, I did not. I'm transmissions are pretty low on the list right now. I'll be honest with you. So that being said, let's roll into it. Who's got some tuning questions? There we go. Jeremy Z06. I got a question. I've been fighting with my car for 3 days now. 08 C6Z. Okay. Chase, I don't know what you mean by are we discussing Intune? No, Intune is the name of the live show, brother. Has been for, I don't know, what, 9 months now? In tune with the Goat Road Garage. And I apologize whenever the dogs start barking if you guys hear that, because the dogs have been barking at everything today. What's going on with chat? Scott, good question. When tuning map or speed density, do you shut off PE or just O2 sensors? Okay. We don't want to shut off power enrichment. Power enrichment, shutting that off back in the day was whenever people were trying to tune with their narrow bands. Using a wide band, we want to leave PE on. It is reflected in your commanded AFR or EQ ratio, so leave it on. Very dangerous to tune without PE on. Danny, did I get your scan and tune? Man, I have no clue, Danny. I get 70 emails a day on with scans and tunes in them. So, hey, Matt, you gotta do what you gotta do, brother. Making the PPE for the local healthcare is that's awesome, bro. What's up, Super Slow? PC, I do not know of any software for transfer case module tuning. Somebody might be able to answer for you. Yes, VJ, we are putting a Pro Charger back in. We got an F1A going in. And I may have bought a pulley that's too small, to be honest with you. I mean, I think I bought a 3.8. That might be a little bit rambunctious for what we need to do right off the bat. So I might need to try to find a 4.2 to throw on there because it's quite a bit more potent. I knew Intune sounded familiar, Chase. Bingo, Brandon's got to turn P off. We'll burn a motor up. Dude, I haven't looked at that stuff. Knowing what I know about it, Global says, am I the only one that thinks certain dyno shoots may not go to a certain twin turbo C8? I haven't looked that deep into it because the platform can't be tuned. And knowing that the platform is tune based, I don't think that the numbers can be realistic because literally once you exceed something like the torque tables on there, it will shut off the throttle body and start killing timing. So the idea behind it, unless they have figured out a way to bypass all of that, I don't buy it, to be honest with you. But that being said, those guys may have the inside track on some software that's not available for public consumption yet, so maybe they are doing it. Who knows? What's going on, Sinister? Hey, Mauler7, good to see you again. Hey, Josh. I pulled the HVAC out from behind the dash and reinstalled my dash. I powered up my car to see if everything still works as normal, but fuel pump won't prime. Tech 2 is showing ABS errors. I don't have a motor in my car, so engine harness isn't hooked up. Is this normal? Yeah, if your engine harness isn't hooked up, no, if your ECM's in, let me think. Jeremy, you're calling on long forgotten knowledge of what has to be there in order to get the fuel pump relay to go into prime. I would still think that it would prime. I don't think the ECM really cares if the engine's there or not. I mean, it would at least do the prime charge. Markesh says, Cam Head's done. Going to send you a log. Check out early next week. Super rough idle after she gets run hard. Otherwise, 753, 739. Good numbers. VJ says, when tuning the PE on a Gen 3 truck, small adjustment, should I be resetting the long terms after adjustment? You can. It's not going to make a difference. Chino says, I got a question. Trying to scale some 50-pound injectors on a P59 PC, and I swapped in a 91 Cyclone 4.3. No data for the injectors, but they're Delphi. 50 pounds at 43.5, so they're 57.7 at Red Out Room. Yep. Okay, Steven says, had that weird ass idle problem last week, found out that we had 120 to 140 ICA. That would make sense then. Did you get your ICA drop down? Set the IFR to new injectors, but doesn't turn on, set them back to stock. Turns on, but real lean. Yeah. That's the problem, Chino, without having an injector flow rate for your charts. What I would probably do is take the stock flow rate and then calculate the percentage difference between the stock injectors and your 50-pound injectors in a percentage, and then apply that percentage to your entire injector flow table. It should get you in the ballpark to be able to start tuning. Not going to be the most accurate way of doing it, but it's better than nothing. Kev says, been reading up lately on a bunch of new subjects. Today was the first time I ever came across people talking about injection timing and how that can play with the new cam overlap. Any thoughts? Yeah, especially with overlap, end of injection can be important because you're just can be to the point where you're spraying out the exhaust valve. Start of injection. I'm sorry, not end of injection. So you may have to adjust your SOI. You'll know if you do though, because at idle you'll get all kinds of issues and you'll smell fuel. So I generally don't mess with SOI unless that is the issue, and then I will go up and bump the SOI up in degrees to try and fix that. But you're also, adjusting the window in which you have time to inject. It's even worse on a direct injection motor. Jeremy, what's showing no communications with the? Oh, yeah, if you're showing no communications with ECM on Tech 2, you're not going to get fuel prime because the ECM is what's controlling your fuel prime. So make sure that your ECM is getting power. Is there a special tuning from or starting from a dead stop? My 4.8 seems to be a little boggy from standstill. Brandon, maybe adjust your PE ramp rate, because if you're jamming it from a dead stop, you may be getting too much fuel. So slow down the ramp rate a little bit to give the truck a chance, or the car a chance, to get moving before it ramps up the PE. What's going on, Tony? Yep. Luke says, have you ever tried tuning a 2010-ish Nissan GTR? No, I have not. I mean, if it's supported, Luke, and I can always look at the tune and see what's going on and point you in the right direction. It's just deciphering the differences between the different platforms. At the end of the day, we're basically doing the same thing. Mark H says, you think the rough idle after it runs hard is normal? Probably not, but people that say the LT4 shouldn't really idle rough no matter how big the cam, that's not true. Yeah, S10, I can dive into a little bit more in detailed stuff. I've just been so busy. Jerry, no worries, brother. E92s. What's the E92 used in? Hey, Chino, like all that other crap, the volts and stuff, one those out so they're not messing with you. Just focus on trying to get your injector flow rate table dialed in. I mean, your short pulse and pulse limit, leave those kind of as they were. Tom, yeah, I mean, we will. As I said, it's just finding the time right now. It's been a little bit hectic and a little bit crazy around here and swamped. But we're giving a t-shirt away tonight, guys. By the way, thanks, Dad, if he's in here. Everybody think Goat Rope Garage Senior. We'll go ahead and fire that up. As always, if for some reason I missed your question during the live stream, just post it down in the comments after the show. I will try and get back to you guys. I have, yeah, exactly. Exactly. World has been crazy right now, and so I've only been able to really get to my email 2 or 3 times a day. So I've been running a little bit behind on everything. Jeremy says 2016 Silverado 5.3 log tubes, no cats, intake, dialed in the math and VVE with the help of your videos. Started at timing, but noticed 2,000 RPMs, getting a fair amount of knock. Jeremy, have you zeroed out burst knock? Because it may not be real. Thank you, Chino. 2,000 RPMs, you should not be getting knock. What kind of timing are you running at 2,000 RPMs? Naturally aspirated, man, if you're getting knock at 2,000 RPMs, it's probably not real. Oh, Brandon, I honestly do not know, man. I would. Can you convert Gen 3s to the Gen 4 2-wire style? I know you can convert the 2-wire to the single wire because that's what I'm running on the Cadillac right now. But hey, what's going on, Chris? Sure thing, Mark. Stock timing table, Jeremy. Nah, that can't be real knock, man. I highly doubt it. Since you have long tubes, though, it might be some exhaust noise traveling back up. You may have to desensitize your knock sensors a little bit. Hey, Danny Z, welcome back. Hey, William, good to see you again, brother. You guys are just in time to join the raffle. We're giving away a Go Road Garage t-shirt. I'll even let you pick which t-shirt that you want. Hopefully this weekend, I don't know if it's this weekend. I got to do some piping work for the Superado before I install this new blower. My buddy Justin, we're going to go over and use his TIG because I do not have a TIG yet. I need to break down. I don't know that I'll be good at TIGging because of my trimmers. Gen 3 2-bar to 3-bar map sensor will need full map readjustment. Only extra boost on the table. Chris, technically, if the offset and span is correct, you shouldn't really need a full map adjustment, only the extra areas. That being said, that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't want to go through and double check that you are looking good on that way. Yeah, Marquez, I'm getting your message, man. It's just getting hit for profanity. See, that's what I thought. One fast day said Gen 4 knock is signal and ground back to the ECM. Gen 3 is signal and ground is the block. But is it still the same signal? Are they still reading hertz or whatever? Yeah, I can make a video of the pipework for the Super Auto. It's ugly. I mean, it looks like something you'd see on Cletus McFarland's channel. Tom Murray, if somebody offered you a twin turbo Gen 3 setup to do videos for content with, would you take them? Yeah, I would. Hell, I'd throw it in the Cadillac. Cadillac would look good with a Gen 3 unit. Yeah, I think the Gen 4 knock has a different signal. Yes. You know, Brandon, I would say that it's murder, but it's me admitting that my welds don't necessarily look any better. So it may be the Gen 5s. I'll have to look into it. What's up, Theo? I can't remember. But yeah, no. I mean, I can work a MIG all right. I got some pretty decent welds on the 4-link that I set up on the truck. And I'll tell you, one of the first things that I'm going to do whenever the lift finally shows up is probably use it to pull the bed off so I can go back over my entire 4-link setup, double check all my welds, see if I need to throw some more on there because we're going to be throwing way more power at that thing. And I'll be honest with you, I'm starting to look at forged rotating assemblies for the Super Auto. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'd like to see that thing take about 25 PSI down its throat. Mahler7, can we get a video on VVT and how cam timing can increase performance? You're in a different boat because you're on a dual overhead cam. I don't know. I can try to fill in some information on that, but on push rod systems, I think VVT is overrated and a waste of time. Michael says, when going to a larger throttle body and map, I'm guessing you mean that you're going to a larger intake tube for your map. Yes, I would do a percentage change. So if you went from a 3-inch to a 3.5-inch, calculate the percentage, shift your math table up that percentage. Yeah, up. I always have to think about that to make sure I don't. And then do a first start, bring it up to idle, and just look at it that way. No, I don't think that you need to change anything for plenum volume for a map or for a throttle body, as long as your manifold stays the same. Where you hauling, Theo? Okay. Gen 3 with the E92 that has a supercharger turbo. So it is kind of one of the crossover ECUs, though. Dude, Mark H. I know. I will do an update soon. I promise you. It's not gone away. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with it. What's in the Super Auto 5.3? Right now it's got not much to the motor, honestly. I mean, the motor's still the stock motor. It's got a L86 intake, LT1 throttle body, methanol injection, and of course, as I said, we're putting an F1A on it. Oh, thanks, Hillary. Appreciate it. You max out a 3-bar, exactly. I'm going to use them portable, Kev, because my garage is just not ideal to leave the thing permanently mounted. So I want to be able to the passenger side, I'll leave that post up all the time, but the driver's side, I want to be able to move it out of the way. Michael, monitoring the TCM like you told me last week in the Charger, it never left normal shift mode, this side being less than 40 degrees outside, which automatically engages all-wheel drive. So, I mean, that's the tables that you want to zero in on then. If you put it in sport or manual shift, does it still say that it's in normal shift mode? Okay, interesting. Sorry, I'm still scrolling through this. Steve Van Hook, there will be a cam swap eventually. I think I'm going to do the rotating assembly first. I'm a little less concerned about the cam because the top end on those motors breathes fairly decent, especially when you're cramming all the air into them. Nice. You can drop it by here, Theo. Whoa! Zeth coming in hot. Welcome back, brother. No worries. No need to apologize for being late. John, you should be able to call MSD and ask them, and they will give you the volume. 6.2s are hard to find. I am not going to run 3-bar on stock internals, Hillary. Jerry, you know. Oh, no. Are you talking about adding for the math? Don't worry about the supercharger tables. Leave those alone. I do not know. I may go crazy and have my own cam ground just to show how terrible you can do a ground. Scott, why not a Whipple instead of a Pro Charger? More low end torque, right? Correct. Already have traction issues. Don't need more. I want more high end power. Hey, Slowpoke, welcome to the live show. Perfect. That's what I like to hear, man. Well, Michael, that should narrow it down, man. Mauler7, in nitrous, why do we need a bottle opener? Why not keep it open all the time? It will probably leak off. Most likely, you have enough connections on there that you are slowly going to deplete your nitrous bottle. So it's always a good idea to shut that thing off. Holy crap, that was a great deal if you only paid $2,500 for a 6.2. Well, Jumper. Yeah. Yeah, I'll call comp. Tell them that I want something stupid that won't even work in my motor. What are you talking about, Zero? I got a 4-link and 315 Mickey Thompson drag radials on the backside of that thing. You don't get more suspension and tire. There's probably fewer trucks. There's probably this truck, as far as suspension wise and tire, is probably the best setup truck for this generation that is out there. It has a full custom adjustable 4-link system on it with QA1 double adjustable drag shocks, coilovers actually. Tom, okay, so people have said in the past that the MAF is killed whenever you do the custom OS because the custom OS takes up such a large space on the memory that they had to basically remove the MAF portions of it. Double check though. It's been a long time since I've looked at a Gen 3 custom OS. Jerry, how much boost are you running? That's what's going to determine the size map sensor you want. Hey, Bill, what's going on, brother? Good to see you again. Exactly. Steve's onto it. Why does TSP not have a goat rope cam? Yeah, I need to dial it in. But we're going to get some power to the ground, then we'll start dialing it in. I'm, as I said, more excited about getting this Snow Performance methanol injection kit on there and diving into all the things because it's, from what I can tell, the most feature-rich methanol injection kit. It acts like a additional injector controller. And so I think I'm actually going to blend my own. You might be right, Michael. I don't know enough about that stuff. There you go. James Taylor says, hey, Tom, 2-bar OS keeps the math. Okay. Zero says on the P59 it works with the 3-bar. Okay. They may have fixed that. That may have been an old thing. If you're only running up to 9 pounds, Jerry, you can get away with the 2-bar. But if you've already got the 3-bar, just do the 3-bar. Yeah, Brandon, I could probably do. Are you talking about OS swapping through SDS or whatever, through AC Delco TC Tech Connect stuff? Or are you talking about doing segment swapping on HP tuners? Ooh, interesting, Chomper. Switch to VE combo using Alpha N for idle. Having a problem with startup fueling. Suggestions. Turbinator X. Chomper. Does it smell like gas? If it smells like gas, you're too rich. If it doesn't smell like gas, you're too lean. There you go. The problem being is that I'm still playing with mine. I'll be honest with you, Chomper. I'm still playing with mine on the car. And also check the parked underneath idle, check the throttle park settings and make sure that your throttle body is open enough, because that's what controls how far the throttle body is open during crank. So start that out, decent percentage. I ended up landing at about 30%, I want to say, on my car. And that's just because I was having overshoot on the revs whenever it did start. It was freaking going up to like 1500 RPM as soon as it started. Emerson recently got an LS4 Grand Prix. What would be my first step tuning wise for NOS? Just depends on. I just said the not supposed to say that word. Nitrous oxide depends on how much nitrous you're going to run, Emerson. You probably get by with 100 to 150 shot just by pulling about 2 degrees of timing, and just if it's a wet shot, you know. Yeah, Lynn, that's what I'm thinking. I gotta find a place. I'd really like to run methanol because I heard it burns a little bit cooler than denatured alcohol. Somebody can correct me on that, but I would like to run maybe a 40-60 blend methanol water. Oh, so you're talking about segment swapping, Brandon? Yeah, we could. I could try and do a video talking about segment swapping. You really got to line a lot of stuff up to get all that stuff sorted out because you have to do all the research on the compatible OSs and stuff. So it's good luck, Zero. I'd be interested in that also. I don't know that you'd necessarily do that without going into SPS and writing the OS for the VIN that you're trying to do, which probably won't work. Yeah, Emerson, if it's a wet shot kit, man, just throw it on there, make sure it's jetted properly. I would still run a wideband to make sure you're not running lean because you might have to adjust the jets, but they've got most of that dialed out. Pull a couple degrees of timing, wide open throttle, and have fun, you know. Nice, Jerry. You might have to send me your recipe. No, you can't just do any PCM, Brandon. It is OS, and then the OS has to support the segment that you're trying to swap. And so it is very hard to find the correct OSs that will allow you to swap segments in between the two. And so they've done good on HP Tuner's part to make sure that you can't even have the option unless it's something that you can do between the two files. Cool, man. Oh, nice. What up, TJ? About time you showed up. Remember, everybody, we do have a raffle going for a free Goat Rope Garage t-shirt. You've got about 9 minutes left. If you haven't entered already, exclamation point, raffle. What up, Mike? Mike, I have no opinion on the Engage because I've not gotten a chance to play around with one. Maybe one of these days. I mean, I would think that 50% would be all right. I said I would Chomper. I'd play with your fueling. Just keep bumping your startup enrichment until you start smelling fuel. And if it's, you know, you just got to play with it. That is just the process that you've got to figure out for your vehicle. Dude, I want some barbecue. I want some Texas barbecue. What's going on, Adrian? Brian, glad to hear, brother. How's Germany? I figured that that was the case, man. Even without seeing a log. Long story short, Brian uh, took his car to the dyno and it kind of made pitiful numbers, and his torque, not even necessarily his virtual torque tables, were still stock, and it looked like it was doing the old close the throttle body thing, which goes back to the fact that I don't think that that C8's probably making the horsepower that they're saying, because this is a prime example of Brian's car being supercharged and hitting a cap because that torque stuff will just literally close the throttle on you. Still, Brian, I would like you to get me a log with the parameters that I asked so I can double check and make sure that we don't need to massage it some more. I have not played with the Alpha N stuff at all on the Terminator. I am a child of VE. Every once in a while, I get froggy and I jump over to straight fuel flow. It's very interesting, though. You got to keep in mind the way that it lists that is for the total cylinder displacement flow. And so you have to do the math in your head on some of them, because some of them are taking into account the fuel flow times 8, where there's others are taking into account the single cylinder fuel flow. How to go about figure out boost enrichment settings for speed density. Haven't made a video on it. Well, it depends on the platform, I guess, but I mean, it's pretty straightforward because speed density is based on manifold pressure, so your boost is going to affect your manifold pressure, and so you just enriching the speed density up until you've hit your goal. It's just it's about any. What are you doing? I didn't say that word. Chapel Hill sausage. That's what I'm talking about. Danny, mine's ported. Actually, mine's a ported LT4. I have a solar throttle body on there, and it is way too aggressive. Way too aggressive. I don't know how they would have said it tested good if there's a hole in the oil pan. John, 2016 Vet LT1. I had to set my AF gauge and HP tuners and EQ ratio to get my log correctly. Is it okay? Yeah, yeah. And that's the better way of doing it, honestly, John. EQ ratio is always the same across all fuels, so targeting 1 is better than trying to target 14.7. That way, if you were to ever run ethanol or something in there, you're good to go. So, 05 CTS. Not off the top of my head, John, but I do appreciate it. Yeah, do you have that aggressive ported one, Danny? Because that thing is super touchy down low. In fact, I've almost ran into the wall a couple times because it once it breaks over, all the air. Whatever, TJ, bring it. What up, Chevy for Life? Appreciate it, man. Hope work's going well. Ugh, Brandon, gross. Hey, Eddie. What? Okay, let me. Okay, I don't know, Eddie. That's a good question. Eddie says, "I want your opinion on knock sensors. Would you recommend running them with Terminator X? For one, you got to set them up properly in the Terminator X for them to even work. I didn't even do that originally. I had to go back, go through the steps of basically bumping up the sensitivity, and I had to adjust the frequency that they were on to even get them to start reading. So I got them to start reading at idle, and then backed them down a percentage or whatever, and I've not had any issues. I still don't necessarily know if they work. I need to probably get a uh, aftermarket knock monitor and throw on my car, especially because I've got a 150 jet and we're about to put the 200 jet in it. Uh, Stick around, Eddie. I will give you my insight as to the knock sensors on the Terminator X. It's straightforward and it should work perfectly fine, but they're not that clear on getting those things set up properly. That's one of my complaints about Holly. Their whole thing is, I don't think that they necessarily on the Terminator X want you using the software. I think they want you using the handheld and just running basically kind of their can tune and letting the AFRs learn themselves out, but you're leaving a lot on the table by not grabbing the software. S10 on the Gen 3 return fuel system, do I change the fuel injector table from 33 pounds to 36? It depends on what your fuel pressure is. If you're on a return system and you have a fuel pressure regulator maintaining pressure, you want to set it to what that is. Yeah, Dan, I'm supposed to talk to the guys over at RotoFab here soon. But I don't know what we're going to necessarily talk about. I don't have anything to run any of their cold air intakes on. 3 condensers, 2 air handlers, a mini split, and doing a zone 2 1 unit. I've been there 2 days, had 5 people here yesterday. Whew. 250, I don't have a 250 jet. In fact, I don't know if my kit or my setup will necessarily support 250. I think the solenoid will. May have to up the lines or something, dirt floor. 200 is exceeding the horsepower recommendations of the internal components of a North Star motor. Woo! At least you're still working, brother. Yeah, I figured you probably had something pretty crazy going on to switch over to Alpha N for idle. But as I said, check that out and report back and let me know how that worked, Chomper, because I'd be interested to see. What's going on, Tug Hill? Hey, Kyle. Why would I be hearing my torque converter when everything is installed correctly? Is the fluid level because it's about 2 quarts low? Would I be hearing spin from the torque? I can't answer that for you, Kyle. Somebody else might. Listen, there'll be some people in here. Watch the chat. There might be some people in here that have better experience on something like that. There you go, brother. Any tips to set up a boost reference fuel pressure regulator? Follow the instructions. Not being a smartass there, Brandon. Stuck in quarantine, so I've been resurfacing my own cylinder head. Nice. I imagine that probably is a workout. Stupid question. I have a wideband, but still in stock manifolds and Y pipe and don't have access to a welder. Should I take out the pre-cat O2? Pre-cats. Take out the pre-cat ones. If you can tune before the cat, that's the way to go. You'll get. The debate is still up in the air whether or not it will skew the reading, but I can tell you post-cat will delay the reading and you will get a lot of bad data. Yeah, you should, Zero. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to run a stock ECM at 43 PSI fuel pressure on a full return system. And then if you were targeting 43, which means your delta across your injectors is going to be 43 whenever you get into boost, i.e. at 10 PSI, you're actually at 53 PSI, then you can just set your fuel pressure in your ECM to 43 across. Front pump whine. I have no clue what the hell you're talking about. Oh, you're talking to the other Kyle. Sorry. See ya, TJ. The drawing looks to be up, so let's see who wins the shirt. Drum roll. And our winner is Chino. You still here, Chino? I hope Chino didn't leave. Would suck for him. Chino, I'll give you a minute here to pop up. If you are not here, you don't win. If you are still here, you won. Denny, yeah, I know who RPM is. 3K is pretty high, but it's a pretty good cam package. Does 3K include the tune? Give him a second, Chris. Yes, this is the shirt from Leroy. Everybody say thank you, Dad. I have a sneaking suspicion Chino has gone. Doo-ba-doo-doo-doo. I don't know if there's an easy way for me to see. I need a participants list, don't I? Doo-ba-doo-doo-doo. Participants. Well, this isn't right. There's more than 10 people in here. Yeah, okay, Chino, you had your chance. Time for a redraw. Okay. Drum roll. And the winner is Bill Saunders. Congratulations, Bill. I know Bill's still here. Bill, you know the drill. Shoot me an email. I've got your address somewhere. Shoot me an email to remind me, though, Bill. And in the email, let me know which shirt you want and what size. Probably so, Brian. Doug Hill, not for nothing. What is a wide sweep on a Bosch 4.9 sensor? Are you reading in AFR or Lambda, Doug? Here we go. Here we go. Tom Anderson solved my bucking issue on the 1500 HD with the TSP Stage 3 by adding to the TCC lock unlock as suggested. Congratulations, Tom. Glad to hear it. Thank you for reporting back that it worked. And thank you for everybody that helped him out. You guys are the best community. The best community in tuning. Ben, you know, we've gotten to, I think we've broken 100, haven't we? I tell you what, we're going to break 100 whenever we hit 20,000 subscribers here in a couple weeks. We will do a big giveaway, another gift card or something, some shirts. And I guarantee you we'll break 100 on that night. Victor, one-on-one help is $75. And I don't know if there's any spots open for this month. But look, the end of the month's coming up. First of the month is when to grab those spots. A lot of guys will do a month of the $75 one and then drop down to the $15 tier so they can maintain the email support. So, check it out. Jerry L., just go through the website, GoRoadGarage.com. Yeah, Lambda reads between 0.5 and 2, I want to say, Tug. Victor says, is it possible for a stock map sensor to max out on an NA motor? Technically, no. If you're maxing out your stock map sensor on an NA motor, either your motor is the most, even then it wouldn't be. No, you shouldn't be able to. Are you getting over 1 bar on there? What are you seeing, Victor? 75 for 1-on-1, John. Quit trying to undersell me. Hellcat, if I download a tune from the HP Tuners repository, do I have to spend more credits to write that tune to my truck? You probably will not be able to write that tune to your truck, but you can take that tune and copy everything over in the comparison log and then basically update your tune to match that other tune. Danny, is 0.88 lambda good? That's where I'm showing it wide open throttle. 0.88 is decent for a naturally aspirated motor. That's probably about what I would shoot for a naturally aspirated motor. Even if it was port injected, I like 0.88, 0.85 to 0.88, then 0.8 to 0.85 on forced induction, unless it is direct injected. You can get by running a direct injection motor out to 0.85. Yes, I'm giving away cartons of TP. No, Theo, you did not win. Sorry, brother. James, I don't know that the Gen 3 P59 ECU has a commanded EQ parameter. Somebody here will be able to answer you. You could always modify it, especially since if you're not running flex fuel, and basically take your stoic value and divide it by, or take your commanded AFR and divide it by your stoic value, and it should give you your AFR, or your EQ ratio, I should say. But Steve Van Hook has a 411 that reads Lambda, so I would be very surprised if a P59 did not. Said it's all about whether or not you have commanded EQ. Check your parameter list in the scanner to see if you have commanded EQ alongside commanded AFR. Everything's got commanded AFR. If you have commanded EQ, then yes, you can. If it's flex, you definitely have commanded EQ. That's a big sweep, man. 87 to 1.15 at 2K. Steady driving. I would. You got something going on there, man. Tug, you got your narrow bands on still? Because I would check versus your narrow bands. Your narrow bands should be pushing you. At 2K, you're probably not in power enrichment. I don't think you should be, but you might be. If you're not in power enrichment, if you're in closed loop with your narrow bands in there, they should be pointing you towards your stoic value, which is going to be 1, and your wide band should match up. Timothy, that is a big, long question. You need to load the parameters required to log the things that you're wanting to do for tuning. So go back, watch some of my videos early on talking about math tuning, speed density tuning, things like that. I will touch on specific parameters that you need. Then as you get into it, you will learn some of the stuff that you like as a tuner, because there's certain things I like to log that other people don't necessarily care to log. Then there's stuff that other people log that I don't necessarily care to see. Bone stock torque converter surges. There's a TSB for a fluid that fixes that surge. Timothy, what's the best way to get the best throttle response with Gen 3 P59 drive-by-wire? Throttle response is what it's going to be, brother. You can adjust your response table on there to make the throttle open up faster, but it's no different than just pushing the pedal all the way to the floor. That is crazy. The wrong fluid from the factory. That's 2 people that has backed that up. And then Paul's saying that the fluid made it worse. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it, brother. Yes, they do. You are correct, Ben. He said on his 09 2500 that his unlocking his TCC helped to wake up the low throttle. That's crazy. I can understand partially why they try to do that to keep trans temps down, but you're killing the ability of the torque converter to make torque. That's the whole purpose of it. It actually multiplies torque. Injector in angle tuning. So, depends on the platform, Global. Are you on port injection or direct injected? Because that's a big can of worms to be opening up. Tug, try an open air calibration. It's worth a shot. Oh, look at this. Leroy Crawford is stepping up and is going to do another t-shirt drawing again next week. Thank you, Dad. Oh, Rick, you missed the raffle. Sorry, brother. What's going on, PCM? A lot of good questions tonight. I want to thank everybody, as always, for taking the time to stop by the garage here, chat with us on a Thursday night. I know everybody's kind of sheltered in place anyways, but there's other things you could be doing besides spending your time in this chat room. So I do appreciate it. I appreciate people coming in here, helping out, sharing their information, people coming in, asking questions, keeping the conversation lively. It has just gotten better every single week since we started this thing. And I mean, this live show is on episode 7 or 8 of the second season. So that means we have over 30 episodes in the can. That is 30 straight weeks of doing this show. Well, we missed 1 week for the holidays. So, guys, thank you as always, man. I really, really, really enjoy this stuff. Element, you just missed you're right at the end of it, brother. Come by next Thursday. PCM says QA1's coming tomorrow. Woo! Sounds good, Zaf. Appreciate it, brother. Get some videos out, man. So, as I said, just wanted to say, you guys are the driving force of this whole community. If you guys did not show up, ask questions, provide answers, things like that, I wouldn't do this, So I'll keep doing it as long as you guys keep participating. You guys keep on watching the videos, keep on throwing those thumbs up, things like that. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better crowd of people that are actually wanting to learn. It blows my mind. You guys are amazing. You have expanded my knowledge base 1,000%. So, that being said, it is time to wrap up. I'm exhausted, if you couldn't tell. I hope everybody has a great weekend, safe weekend. Keep healthy. There you go, budget. Keep healthy. Keep your heads down. Thanks for stopping by the garage. Remember, ABT, always be tuning.